Good evening. My name is Nhật Minh, and now I will present to you one of the beats that I created during my time learning how to make, mix, and master beats. This beat is called Ghost. And now let's open the project. This beat was created for Halloween days, and it is a storytelling beat. This beat is telling us the story of a fictional producer who is an avid producer. He makes at least 3 beats every day until one day his beat started to turn against him, and eventually he got hunted and cursed by the melodies that he created. Finally, he turned himself into a ghost just because he was so focused on his beats that he forgot the values of his life. And now let's wait for the beats to turn on. When I make these beats, I focus on the details as well as the patterns and melodies to make sure that they are unique and show their own characteristics. I also make sure that the elements in my beats are balanced with each other and it doesn't clip. So this is the beats, and let's go into details. How did I create them? So first of all, this beat started with the samples that I found on the internet. This is the sample without any single effects at all. This is a sample. When I first heard the sample, I imagined a boom bap beat, as this is a little classic related samples. But as I look further into it, I realized that this sample needs something a little modernized. So I go search for modern music, and I discovered drill music with very unique patterns, very hard bass, which is called 808, and very punchy kick that can be so impactful. The song sound very strong and very tight. So for the sample here, I added this FabFilter Pro Q3 for the sample to be clean. Some EQ8, just like this, so that I can increase the impact of the sample. Some more EQ8 for the middle frequency of the beats of the samples. Some utility so that it doesn't clip with others, and some reverb for space. Adding reverb into the samples makes this sound a little louder, and it creates something that can bounce back. Now let's go to the first verse. For the first verse, I use this hi-hat. So this is the hi-hat without any effects. Oh, let's just solo that and play it. This was a combination of 2 hi-hats that I found on the internet. The one was a New York drill hi-hat, and the one was a UK drill hi-hat. And for effects, I add in Pro Q for cleanliness, to make the hi-hat look more clean, and some JJP, which is an effect that increases the impact of the hi-hat, the strength of the hi-hat, and make sure that the hi-hat still doesn't clip with the kick, the snare, or any other elements in the song. And this is the snare that I use for my first verse, which is the signature drill snare used in a lot of drill songs. So this is the drill snare without any effects at all. For effects, I add in still the Q3 to clean the bass of the snare, making sure that the snare sound as sharp as possible. Then I increase the sharpness of the snare using JJP and a compressor to make sure that the snare doesn't clip with the hi-hat or the kick. For the first verse, I use this very, very impactful kick, which sounds like this without any effects at all. You can hear that the kick is very impactful. Then I add in Q3 for cleanliness, JJP for strength as well. So this is Pro Q for kick, and this is JJP for kick. And the kick sounds like this with effects. You can hear that the kick is punchier, stronger, and brings more fear to people. I want my drums to be so scary that the audience have nightmares during their sleep. That's the reason why I created them as strong as possible. So this is the 808 that I use, the signature drill 808, and this is the 808 bass with no effects. And I add in this compressor, making sure that it doesn't clip with others. One more compressor to make sure that it doesn't clip. So the first one, make sure that it doesn't clip with the hi-hat. Second one, make sure that it doesn't clip with a kick. Then I add in saturator for distortion, and of course I increase the attitude of the bass, making sure that it sounds as harmful as possible. Then is the chorus. So for the chorus, I use this synth that I made using one of the old apps that I used to use to make beats, which is called BandLab. This is the synth with no effects. And this is the synth with Q3 for cleanliness, some C2 for compression, reverb for space. This is reverb for space, and saturator for distortions. And for the second part of the song, the second verse, I use this very signature trap hi-hat to begin the second verse. So the trap hi-hat sounds like this, without any effects. I simply add in Q3 for cleanliness and vinyl to make the hi-hat sound a little classic related. So it sounds like this with effects. And the rest of verse 2 is the same as the first verse, as well as the chorus 2. For the outro chorus, I use this trap drums with this hi-hat. And this two snare. This is the first snare, and this is the second snare. And this is the kick that I use from a trap part. Then come this trap 808 with no effects at all. It sounds like this. And then I simply add in EQ8 for compression, glue compressor to make sure that it doesn't clip with the trap kick, and some JJP bass for strengthening the bass, making sure that it sounds as sharp as the drill bass. And for the ending part, I use this sample and make it stand alone. So the ending part sounds like this. The sample will stand alone, and then the drill hi-hat will come as well as the trap part. So it sounds like this. And that's the end of the explanations. Overall, I think that this beat has shown my abilities in beat arrangements and beat mixings, finding places that need to be mixed and finding places that doesn't need to be mixed. This beat also shown my abilities in mastering songs, making sure that the song sounded like I wanted it to be. This is one of the beats that I would say this beat would be perfect for Halloween, especially when you wanted something as scary as possible. And that's the end of my beats description. You can enjoy the clips that I made using some help from AI artwork generators.
Nothing really changed, still got love for the game. Nothing really changed, still got love.